everybody, this is Onika Long with Love My Womb Academy, and today I am going to be demonstrating womb massage, womb stimulation. And so the main ingredient that we will be using is castor oil. So I will be using a blend of castor oil, lemongrass, and safflower oil mixed with a few essential oils like lavender as well. The first thing I'm going to do is take a few drops in my hand because you want to warm it up for your client. And I'm just going to gently place it on her. You want to always go in a clockwise motion. So with womb stimulation, this is really good for detox. It's really good if your client suffers from heavy menstrual cramps. It increases circulation in the womb and the internal organ area, and it helps with endometriosis. So your womb is approximately about 3 inches long, as you all already read in the book. And so you can even feel the womb starting at the pubic bone and lightly pressing. You can actually feel her right here. You always want to check to make sure it's in the correct location. And if it's not, you'll use a scooping method with your hand. So if the womb, for instance, was kind of to the left or to the right, you would take your hand and use a scooping method to move it over. So that's what you would do.
Is that called womb positioning?
Yes, womb positioning.
Okay.
And so now, with the stimulation, this castor oil blend is also going to help to detox the liver, the kidneys.
How do we know if the womb is out of position?
When you feel for it, because this is the position that it should be in. So when they feel for it, if you don't feel the womb right there, if it feels like a kind of like a deviation, then you might need to go to the left. And then if you're like, okay, here it is, or if it's over to the right, that's when you do the womb positioning. Some people can even have an inverted womb where it's upside down. Sometimes it can be really far back by the bladder. So you just feel around to see, because that's a #1 cause of infertility.
Is what?
The womb malposition.
Okay.
So that's why you're feeling around for it.
Okay. What kind of stroking are you doing?
Well, I explained to them you always want to go clockwise, and I'm going down and then around. And so the way your colon runs, you have your ascending colon, you have your transverse colon, your descending colon, and then you have the sigmoid. And so it's always good to work this side first, because the descending is going to bring the waste out. And so constipation could be another cause for different feminine discomforts, because all of our organs are very close, closely knit together. Is my pressure okay?
Mm-hmm.
You always want to check on the pressure, because some clients haven't had their stomach touched before.
How does it feel?
Feels good.
Okay.
When some pads it make me feel like I want some pads, guys.
And if you feel that way, do it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm right here at the colon. And so you may have had some trapped air in the colon, but you have your large intestines and also your small intestines. So that just means I'm doing a good job of moving the waste.
So it's okay
and
for them to
everything.
pass gas?
Absolutely.
That's part of the release.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And what kind of stroking is that? What are you doing now?
This is what I like to call the wave.
Okay. That's the wave, y'all.
That's what I was gonna guess it is.
Yeah. This is a real massage stroke.
Oh, okay. I thought you might be making some stuff up.
No,
saying
it is.
would work. Because you know we can improvise and it'll work. You'd be like, oh, I got a way up. I can stroke and it works. So yeah.
And so then, when dealing with the womb, you also want to check the feet. So the womb position is on the back of the ankle. And if the womb was out of place, you would actually feel like a depression in the ankles.
So when you say in the back of the ankle, are you talking about the Achilles tendon?
You can come over here.
Come over here and see. Yeah.
Right here in this area.
You might want to come from the back and lift your feet and let her see.
Okay.
And so as you're feeling it, hers is in the correct position.
And sometimes what we like to do, lift the actual, lift it with both hands from the back, and then you can massage this way.
Oh, as you're holding it.
Uh-huh.
and you massage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you feel in one side still is kind of soft, then you'll know, okay, it's still, the uterus is still, slanted in that direction, so then you'll keep moving it. Her uterus is actually in the correct position.
So, is the feet are an indicator to positioning of the womb?
Yes.
Okay. Around the ankle area, in the Achilles heel.
Yeah, if you had your fingers, the 3 fingers, the top of that last finger is about where you want to press. And you'll feel it. So I took the 3 fingers and I put it right there. So when I'm doing the womb massage, I'm always checking the ankles first.
Or womb stimulation.
The womb stimulation.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I'm always checking the ankles, and then after I check them, then I go back. But hers actually was in the correct position, so I didn't feel any, depressions or anything in her feet.
So how does this help to create fertility for a client?
It's going to help with detoxification, detoxing these internal organs, because everything plays a part. It's not just about the womb. You have to treat the whole body.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was explaining before, helping number 1 to correctly position the uterus if it's out of position. That's number 1. And then the castor oil, this is doing most of the job for me, because this is the largest organ of our skin, of our body, the skin. So this is absorbing, through the follicles and the pores to those organs, to the uterus. So this also helps to detox the uterus, like people, like, you ever know when you're on your cycle and sometimes you have like that old stagnant blood? Castor oil is going to help to pull all that out of the body. And then detoxing the liver, detoxing the kidneys. So it's going to really help to pull everything out. So once you get a really good lather on here, you then can move to the womb wrap. And then that's going to further help to detox, and it's going to help to soften the tissues. So sometimes when you have that energy blockage in the womb area, in the sacral, the womb gets cold. And the womb is not supposed to be cold. The womb is supposed to be a certain temperature to conceive life. So this is another thing. You're bringing that warmth back into the womb.
And the
You're
blood
opening that
circulation.
energy center back up.
Okay.
So for women who are trying to increase fertility, how frequently do you recommend they get a womb
Well,
stimulation?
the number one thing that you want to do, you want to have them chart. So you're actually will be synchronizing it with their cycle, but you have to make them chart, because what I noticed the first question I ask women, how long have you been trying to conceive? Oh, it's been 5 years or this and that. Then I ask them, how long have you been charting? Charting? Oh, I don't do that. That's probably why you're not pregnant. It
And
could
when
just
you
all
say
be a timing
charting,
issue.
Being
Charting.
aware of your moon cycle.
Charting your cycle, yes. And so many of us don't want to do it.
How do we chart?
You chart, you have to count the days, like when the day starts, you have to count it. So the normal cycle, which there really isn't a normal cycle because everyone is different. You typically ovulate 14 days after the first day of your menstrual cycle, but some people have a 31-day cycle. Some people have a 29-day cycle. That's why charting is so important, because I might ovulate 14 days after, but you might ovulate 17 days after. And so we actually provide different kits where you can give to your client to start charting their cycles. But that's going to be step number 2. First of all, ask them how long, and then charting. So once you get them charting, then you'll actually synchronize it where they will come in like 4 to 5 days before they're actually ovulating, because then that'll get them ready, because you can only get pregnant that 1 week out of the month anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Good question.
Anybody else have any questions?
So, I do got a question. So,
Yes.
you do the best time for people who trying to conceive is to do the womb stimulation when they're ovulating.
No, you want to do it right before, because
Right before.
it's getting the womb prepared. So you have a really good chance of getting pregnant 5 days before your actual ovulation date. So really 7 days before would be a great time. 5 to 7 days before you actually ovulate would be a great time to get this womb stimulation and the steam. Because you do not want to steam. Sorry, get that for me. You don't want to steam when
You trying to
and when that egg drops. You don't want to steam when you're there we go. That's the volume. You don't want to steam that egg that just dropped, that freshly dropped egg, and then you don't want to like damage any other eggs. That's why you don't want to steam while you're ovulating, and of course while you're on your period. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's good to know.
Yes.
And how can they find you? You have another question? No, please go.
So on the contrary, if you aren't trying to get pregnant and you don't want to get pregnant, come in while you're ovulating.
Well, I would never recommend that, because I feel like our eggs are gold. So I would never even want to even,
mess with
damage our eggs. But I would just say a person can get a steam, at any time. But if they're not trying to have a baby, they can also use the rhythm method, which is a natural birth control that actually
We
works.
taught that.
If you're charting,
We learned that over the weekend.
yes, I have been on the rhythm method for going on 3 years now, and I'm still not pregnant. So I can personally attest that the rhythm method works. And I do it because I do chart my cycles, and I know that week where I ovulate, and that's the week where I don't have intercourse. And, once that week is over, then I can resume intercourse. And it's worked for me for 3 straight years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my egg dropped early.
Were you charting?
17 months.
Wow.
How early did it drop?
A few days. It actually, and I knew that it dropped early because when I went in, they changed my due date to way sooner, and I was like, I told her when I knew what my cycle was. I showed her my calendar, and she was like, your egg released early.
So when you
Oh,
say
I was
early,
like,
you
sooner
were
than what it
saying
was
you
the.
were 14 days, and that was your ovulation date. How many days before?
I have to look at my.
Was she saying the 5 to 7 days? So it was 3 days before the 5 to 7.
Yeah, it released sooner than it was
wow.
supposed to.
Okay.
And I was
get
like,
that from time to time. You're not gonna always be on one. Yeah.
And when they did studies, and doctors had found out they did a study with sperm, and they found out that male sperm actually has more stamina. Wait a minute.
Females last longer than males.
Yeah, female sperm lasts longer. I think we have more stamina, but they're faster.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe they have more stamina, but we have more endurance. So the male sperm actually dies 24 hours in the womb. We, on the other hand, we can live up to 5 days in the womb. So what I've done with my last 2 pregnancies, I found out if you have sex, number one, on your ovulation day or the day before your ovulation day, you have a 95% chance of getting a boy. But if you have sex, I would say 3 to 4 days, no, I'll say 4 to 5 days before your actual ovulation date, you have a 95% chance of getting a girl. So yeah, so that's good to know for people that want to have that baby girl or want to have that baby boy. Because I tried it twice.
There's a science to all of this, and it's amazing, ladies. The womb is amazing. Yes,
Creation is perfect.
divine design.
Divine design.
Divine design. So how can they find you?
Okay, yes. So you can find me at themerkabahouse.com, and that is www.themerkabahouse.com, and also my phone number is 314-649-8088, and you can also email me at themerkabahouse@gmail.com.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other questions before we close out? Okay. Go ahead and do that.